Hey everyone, today we are covering the top 9 energy boosting supplements that are completely free of caffeine and our top 4 foods that you should be eating all day for long-term sustained energy. Now, you might already be thinking, well, I drink coffee a few times a day, even in the afternoon. Isn't that good for me? Isn't that what it's there for? Well, sure, right? A little bit of caffeine, a cup of coffee can be helpful for performance, can even provide a small healthy dose of energy when it's consumed in small or moderate amounts. But if we're being honest, most people are completely overdoing caffeine, completely overdoing it. And ironically, putting more stress on the body, jacking up cortisol levels, causing hormonal imbalance, and honestly making fatigue worse. Or maybe you're someone who's actually genetically not really able to metabolize caffeine, so it causes your heart rate to go through the roof, or you might get insomnia from just a couple sips of coffee or caffeine. And to be honest, in both of these cases, both of these situations, we need to have alternative options. So that's what you're getting today. We're gonna go through some of our top supplement and food recommendations that we honestly use ourselves personally all the time and also recommend to a lot of our clients. So you're probably wondering, what are these miracle supplements that you're talking about? Get me all the information, and I promise you we will get to those, so hang tight. But first, I wanna talk about some of the more food-related energy boosting foods and why you need to be eating them every single day, or at least on a weekly basis, okay? Now, before I start listing off a bunch of foods, go down and hit that like button. It truly helps us so much. It helps show YouTube that we're putting out good content, and it helps us help you even more, okay? Now, something you should know more often than not is that energy lows are a result of really not having enough of the right nutrients in your body or from the food that you're eating to produce energy, because it should be able to do it on its own. So sometimes it's not about adding more and more and more synthetic caffeine or slamming, that third cup of coffee in the afternoon. It's more so focusing on what are the foods that I need to eat to build up the nutrient stores that are actually involved in making energy or in converting our food into energy. Because if we have that nailed down, then we're not struggling and relying on exogenous sources of caffeine. Things like B vitamins, all the different minerals and electrolytes that we talk about all the time, like magnesium, calcium, zinc, right? All these different vitamins and minerals are important because they actually convert the food that you eat into energy. And with the level of stress that most humans are dealing with nowadays, we become so deficient so easily because we're just flushing these minerals all day by the high demand from the stress. Okay, now let's get into some of these foods. Number 1 has to be bone broth. It is such a hidden gem. We love it so much. It's great for natural energy, especially if you're not wanting a caffeine source. And if you get a good source like a grass-fed quality bone broth, it's packed with so many amino acids and different vitamins and minerals. Something I love about bone broth is actually its ability to help boost serotonin levels, and that's from the component glycine. So serotonin is kind of that hormone in your body that just helps you feel good. It makes you feel alive, it makes you feel happy, and we've seen that the bone broth can actually help to raise those levels, okay? So sip on a cup of bone broth even in the morning, or maybe in the evening after dinner, after a little cap as a nightcap. It's a really, really good option, and it kind of gives you that same feel as drinking a warm cup of coffee or a cup of tea that would normally have caffeine in it. So it really fuels the brain. It provides the body those raw materials that it needs without further damaging the body by putting more stress on it, okay? Now, another top energy boosting food that we love is fruit, okay? We're not getting real creative here. Yes, it is straight up fruit. Any different type of fruit you like, bananas, blueberries, grapes, cantaloupe, whatever it might be. These foods can really help increase our energy because they have carbs in them, and carbohydrates are our body's main source of energy in the body. Okay, now, not just any old fruit though. If you're gonna choose to have something as like a mid-afternoon or mid-morning snack, you wanna combine it with something that's high in healthy fat or protein so that it doesn't spike your blood sugar, because just having carbs or fruit on its own can kind of, spike blood sugar, which could subsequently end up plummeting your energy levels even more just because of that drastic change in blood sugar, okay? So always pair it with like a nut butter or a piece of grass-fed jerky, and you'll notice way better results with eating that fruit versus just eating it all by itself. Okay, so the third top food that I wanna talk about is your dark leafy greens and veggies. So you might be thinking, all right, Abby, you're telling me to swap out my espresso for broccoli? Yeah, nice try. And honestly, yes, I am. That's what I'm telling you to do, but it's for good reason, because vegetables are so packed with nutrients like minerals, like folate, magnesium, calcium. And honestly, without enough of these minerals in our system, we can really start to notice low energy, which causes us to just have to resort to external sources, okay? Now, if you're somebody who just absolutely doesn't like vegetables, just try to do what you can, even if it's just throwing a handful of spinach in your smoothie. Stick to the ones you like and then try to branch out slowly. Things like arugula and bok choy and collard greens aren't really as bad when you really season them well and cook them in a good way. So try to fuel with more vegetables throughout the day, because you'll notice that your energy just becomes stable over days to weeks to months versus, you know, going periods of time without including these types of food. You're gonna notice your energy levels just consistently aren't as stable. All right, so next we have coconut water. We love coconut water. It's got potassium and magnesium, but it also contains a little bit of carbohydrate, which we know is, of course, great for fueling and providing energy. We love actually the Numa drinks. Numa is probably our favorite company for just anything sports drink related, because their ingredients are clean, they've got adaptogens, they have coconut water in their products, and if you feel inspired to kind of try out Numa, we're definitely gonna hook you up with a discount code. So if you go down into the show notes, we will link to their website as well as give you a discount code so that you can try how amazing these drinks are. You know, especially if you wanna like drink something and have something in your hand, this is a good option for when you're looking to pour that third cup of coffee. It's like, just crack one of these open and sip on it, and you'll notice your energy just becomes very even keeled and stabilized without sort of the jittery effect that coffee can bring when you've really overdone the caffeine. So we really love Numa. They have phenomenal products, and the profile of nutrients that they have in there are just so functional, and they work really well for just really helping stabilize energy levels, whether it be before a workout, after a workout, or just anytime really throughout the day when you just need a little pick-me-up. All right, so now we've talked about food. We're gonna get into some of our favorite supplements that we recommend for people all the time whose energy just really needs some TLC, and we use these ourselves, right? We're not perfect. We have times where our energy is just not where it should be, and utilizing supplements that are good quality is a great thing to do. We wanna focus on food, but sometimes we don't all have all day to make 3 balanced meals that 7 days per week to get the perfect balanced diet, right? We're human and we live in the 21st century. It's tough. Now, we aren't gonna throw junk at you though, right? So if we're gonna recommend supplements, we're gonna make sure they're good, we're gonna make sure they're not gonna harm you, and we're gonna make sure that we've tried them and we've tested them and we know that they actually work and that they do what they prove to, right? Because there's just so many options out there that have really crappy marketing. All right, so the first supplement that we have is Energy Xtra, and this is one of our favorite products, especially from one of our favorite companies, Pure Encapsulations. And we love it because this product actually combines a couple different type of adaptogens that I actually talked about in the Numa drinks as well. So adaptogens sort of help the body just naturally respond to stress, and they're all natural ingredients, real from the earth, okay? And they've been shown to help combat stress, manage cortisol levels, boost energy, and it's really, you know, the variety and the combinations of adaptogens that can really make a lot of good things happen in the body. So for example, you wanna use it first thing in the morning or maybe mid-afternoon when you feel like you're actually gonna fall asleep at your desk, like your eyes are closing. This is where you want something like ashwagandha or ginseng or rhodiola, which kind of just makes for more of a stimulatory effect that feels really natural, and it's not going to give you kind of the jitters, as I mentioned, that caffeine can bring, especially when you're doing too much of it. Ashwagandha is also by itself a phenomenal adaptogen. If you believe that your fatigue is more like stress related, it can really help with that and those feelings of feeling really tired and wired. Ashwagandha is a phenomenal adaptogen to kind of use even on its own, but again, it's really in a nice combination in that Energy Xtra product. Now, maybe you've tried some adaptogens and you're just not really sure they work for you, you haven't seen a whole lot of success. You might want to try looking at something on the cellular level, like the True Niagen or the ResveraCel by Thorne, because they both have nicotinamide riboside, or NR for short, which help boost energy levels at the cellular level. Now, if you're going to try these, you should note that it may take like 2 to 4 weeks until you see a difference, just with the nature of how these supplements actually work in the body. Okay, moving on to another supplement, we want to talk about the Stress B Complex by Thorne. This product provides a nice blend of different B vitamins, which I've mentioned a few times already, are fantastic for energy conversion. So they take the food we eat and they turn them into energy, and they're also actually produced in the gut. So some of you might be doubting like, why B vitamins over espresso, but I would challenge you, go look on the label of your next Monster energy drink and you will see that it is literally packed with B vitamins. B vitamins are a real energy enhancing vitamin, and this is a really natural way to get them. Also, make sure that you investigate whether your B vitamin status is kind of low, because the chances are if your energy is really in a bad spot, those B vitamin levels could be optimized. And something like the Stress B Complex complex, or even something like Biosteel, which is more of a multivitamin, essentially in a drink, are really good options. Now, if you're like me and you like having something tangible to drink, you know, a pill isn't gonna do it. I like having my cup of warm coffee or tea, but in this case, something like a Numa, then you might wanna try replacing that coffee with something like a plant protein shake. So we really love SFH plant protein. They also have an Xtra energy blend where they use like different organic mushrooms, and that's been shown to fuel the brain, really stabilize energy. Mushrooms in general have a lot of kind of growing research on them and their role with energy balance. So the Mushroom Morning Energy Blend is also something. You could blend this right into a smoothie or into a warm cup of tea, or honestly, you could even take this and shake it right into your protein shake. I've actually done that a few times. Another way to just get a nice little natural energy boost, okay? All right, one last supplement I'm gonna talk about today is gonna be maca root. So maca is actually a Peruvian herb and been used for a lot of different things, but energy enhancement is one thing, not only in the average Joe, but also in the performance enhancing industry as well. Even adding a teaspoon of maca to your smoothie is a really good way to boost energy. It also gives a very nice nutty taste to your smoothie, which is something that just, it's a very different type of taste. So definitely encourage you to try that out. All right, we've covered a lot of supplements, a lot of food. I know your brain is just spinning right now, and we go into a lot more details on each of these different products in our blog post actually. So if you wanna go down into the show notes where we link that up for you, you could take a look. But really right now, what we wanna hear from you is whether you've tried any of these options that we've talked about today, and really what has your experience been? Have you had a good experience? Have you really not had an effect? Let us know in the comments, and we would love to kind of hear again what your experience is with those. Or you know what, why don't you just go ahead and drop the numbers of coffees that you're drinking a day right now? Honestly, let's get honest with ourselves and know that we can only go up from here. So drop down in the comments, let us know. We are all in this together, trying to take a more natural approach to boosting our energy levels. Now, if you're loving all these supplement ideas, but you're thinking, okay, I want more of a full-blown meal plan, we've got you covered here. So we have different sample meal plans that we put together, even one specifically for more of the active female. If you want to take all this information and kind of put it into more of a day-to-day approach, then go down into the show notes and we will link up both of those meal plans for you to download and get started on right away. Also, please be sure to go down and smash that like button below. It helps us so much. It tells YouTube we're putting out really good content. And also subscribe to our channel, because then you'll get notifications if we do post future videos, which we will. All right, everyone, go energize yourself in the most caffeine-free way possible, and we will see you in the next video.